Well, praise the Lord. Welcome back to Jesus the Deliverer, the Church of God. It is an honor and privilege to welcome you back to the church on today. Now, today is a special day. It is Dr. King's birthday, and we do want to take some time out now to recognize, appreciate, and celebrate our history. Born January 15th, 1929, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights activist in the 1950s and 60s. He led nonviolent protests to fight for the rights of all people, including African Americans. He hoped that America and the world could form a society where race would not impact a person's civil rights. He is considered one of the greatest orators of modern times, and his speeches still inspire many to this day. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15th, 1929. He went to Booker T. Washington High School. He was so smart that he skipped 2 grades in high school and started his college education at Morehouse College at a young age of 15. After getting his degree in sociology from Morehouse, Martin got a divinity degree from Crozer Seminary, then got his doctorate's degree in theology from Boston University. Martin's dad was a preacher, which inspired Martin to pursue this ministry. He had a younger brother and an older sister. In 1953, he married Coretta Scott. Later, they would have 4 children, including Yolanda, Martin, Dexter, and Bernice. In his first major civil rights action, Martin Luther King Jr. led the Montgomery bus boycott. This started when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus to white men. She was arrested and spent the night in jail. As a result, Martin helped to organize a boycott of the public transportation system in Montgomery. The boycott lasted over a year. It was very tense times. Martin was arrested and his house was bombed. In the end, however, Martin prevailed and segregation on the Montgomery buses came to an end. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. helped organize the famous March on Washington. Over 250,000 people attended this march in an effort to show the importance of civil rights legislation. Some of the issues the march hoped to accomplish included an end to segregation in public schools, protection from police abuse, and to get laws passed that would prevent discrimination in employment. It was at this march where Martin gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. This speech has become one of the most famous speeches in history. The March on Washington was a great success. The Civil Rights Act was passed a year later in 1964. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. While standing on the balcony of his hotel, he was shot by James Earl Ray. A lesser known fact about Dr. King is that he was friends with and deeply influenced by the poetry of Langston Hughes. Similarly, Hughes wrote poetry about King's work. Hughes' influence on King was so profound that traces of his poetry have been identified in some of Dr. King's most important speeches. Some examples are King referring to himself as the victim of deferred dreams in A Christmas Sermon for Peace, and affirming life, for none of us has been a crystal star, in the Montgomery, Alabama's Holt Street Baptist Church in November 1956. Both derive from Hughes' poems Harlem and Mother to Son. The relationship between art and politics is well documented, but it's meaningful to consider Dr. King's relationship to Hughes as an embodiment of that natural manifestation. And on his birthday, here are 4 poems by Black poets commemorating Dr. King. So we do ask that you do click on the next 4 videos that will be released as we go through four different poems by 3 different poets, 2 of which is by Langston Hughes, to help celebrate and commemorate Dr. King. We hope that you enjoy. God bless you.